I've played for over 3,000 days in this hardcore world, building the most insane... Oh. Yeah, I died in hardcore Minecraft, losing the world that literally changed my life. So before I show you how I died, by the way, place your guesses in the comments, I thought it'd be a good idea to go over hundreds of hours worth of builds before they get deleted forever. So I'll start off with the builds that took the least time, moving you up to the ones that took hundreds of hours. This is Lord Leonard, a giant villager statue that took an estimated 15 hours. Honestly, most of the time was spent collecting the thousands of terracotta blocks, and he is built upon these state-of-the-art quartz stairs. To show you how big this guy is, just for reference, this is his nose alone. But what makes this guy so special is that inside of his head, I built in a villager breeder. Look at these guys working totally not against their will. I'm joking, they actually have it quite peaceful here. And as small villagers spawn, they fall inside here and get taken out across this entire stream. And just for demonstration, they fall out of this hand into the pool at the bottom, where he's gonna spend the rest of his life farming. And the entire point of this build is to have a village that will never run out of villagers, because sometimes zombies can get to them. And this build gets absolutely dwarfed by some of the ones later in the video. Next, we have the ancient biome cave, taking a total of 20 hours to build. It was initially supposed to be a bat cave because I thought that this looked like a bat logo, but now looking at it, it doesn't resemble it at all. But going down here, we can see the cave. The plan was to rebuild all of the biomes, but in their ancient form. For example, this ice biome was heavily inspired by Ice Age the movie. You can see the acorn right there, and I'm really proud of this DIY Western gold mine. It just looks really cute. Fun fact, I actually needed a lot of ores for these builds, so instead of mining them manually, I opted for some tunnel bores. Now, I quickly realized that this design wasn't nearly powerful enough, so I then proceeded to build this giant tunnel bore, which it then blew up after 5 minutes of use. I spent a long time building that. And my favorite biome is probably this giant octopus with the pink glass. But now, let's move on to the more time-consuming builds. This is the Netherite Factory that took me 50 hours to build. With Netherite being one of the most precious items in Minecraft, I thought it'd be a good idea to make a factory for it. But it certainly came at a cost. You see, just collecting enough ancient debris to run this entire factory took me almost 40 hours of always AFKing for gunpowder and blowing up the nether. But I think it might have been worth it. So on the left-hand side, I've got a giant nuclear elevator. Now let's see where it takes me. It simply leads to a nether portal. Take me back up now. Thank you very much. This is just a massive pile of ancient debris, purely for cosmetics. Moving down here, I have a super smelter. Yeah, it's actually quite a big one. And this was obviously used to smelt the ancient debris into netherite scraps, but most of the time I use it to smelt glass. This is a DIY assembly line with all the conveyors, where the ancient debris scraps combine with the gold to make netherite blocks. And yes, there were supposed to be gold piles here, but I needed gold, so I kind of stole it. Now, as you may remember, the 1.20 update brought armor trims to the game, and I thought it'd be very cool to showcase everything with netherite armor. But my favorite part about this is the secret laser vault security system, because all this netherite is very, very expensive. This is the ancient jungle base that took me around 55 hours to complete. Instead of transforming a jungle temple, which most people do, I decided to make a completely unique build, starting off at the bottom here with the glass fog effect. I can't even begin to describe how long this took me. As first, I had to mine this entire circle, and I did it all by hand. Looking back at it, I should have definitely used one of those TNT machines, but at least I got to practice some patience. And then I had to place about 150,000 glass blocks here, and this glass fog base alone took me about 2 weeks of real life work. Now moving on to this ancient structure, my idea for these end crystal pillars was to act as defense towers. Moving on to here, this is supposed to be an energy core that powers this entire thing, and again, it's built with the glass fog. Yeah, I seem to love doing that. Oh, and on the top level, I decided to capture all of the jungle animals. We've got the panda enclosure, ocelot enclosure, which is supposed to be a cat playground. I've also got a spot for parrots and a sniffer, just because I think it fits the overall theme of an ancient jungle biome. And then at the top here, I have a giant DIY cannon that will shoot and kill anything that is trying to get across the oceans. Obviously, nothing's gonna attack, but let's just pretend. I click this, hopefully there's TNT in there, and it will shoot out TNT. Apparently, it doesn't work anymore. But here's a clip from it actually working earlier on. And that's about it for this one. Moving on to the first nuclear build of this video, the nuclear power plant. I thought this would be a cool way to build some automatic farms, which are found inside of these cooling towers. I have a nice little cobblestone generator over here. I've got a few sugarcane farms here as well as an automatic wood farm. And all these items are connected through these massive pipes that I built, which goes into this main rod. And although it may not seem like it, I actually had a lot of fun building this, as all of these items generated fall into these pipes and get automatically sorted into storage. And if you're wondering what's in the other cooling tower, it's simply an iron farm. As time went on, I built a lot more efficient farms, but this was just a good starting point. And this is the main storage unit, where I have all of the sugarcane, wood, iron, and cobblestone. To be completely honest, this item sorter doesn't really keep up with the demand, and a lot of the items end up despawning here. And the one thing that made this build take so ridiculously long is, again, this glass fog effect. Who would have thought? First, I created the outline, then I had to remove all of the water and place back in the glass. But I think it does give this build a cool toxic spill effect. Quick little secret, about a year and a half ago when it was Halloween, I trapped some of these Halloween mobs. They've been stuck here ever since. Good luck, guys. Here we have the parallel dimension taking 90 hours to complete. It's called parallel dimension because there's the end at the top and then the nether at the bottom. Just in case you couldn't figure it out for yourself, I guess. The thing that was by far the most time consuming is making this hole and then placing all of these blocks. For this build, I didn't use any sort of schematic mod that would have helped with the placing, so every block that was placed here was me looking back and forth one of those Minecraft schematic websites. And I could confidently say it ended up giving me a very sore neck. But apart from that, I actually really enjoyed making this build. I built various nether biomes and tried to replicate the end as best as possible. Right beside is this heavy hitter toxic lake build, taking a staggering 120 hours to build. I had an idea to do a toxic biome and I couldn't have found a better place than to put it in an ocean, which meant that I had to remove all of the water that was across this entire build. Let's start with this dam. I only had the rough idea of what I wanted to look like, but I'm very happy that it came along this well. And this toxic green fog is probably the biggest body of glass that I've ever built. And what's absolutely crazy about this is for a big chunk of it, I was actually collecting the sand by hand. Yep, I didn't have the sand dupers back in my day. And I smelted the over 70,000 glass blocks in these two smelters over here. And all the glass that was collected was dyed with the green cactus farm here. I remember spending about 2 hours just coming up with this outline of the fishbone, but it really helps to sell the toxic effect. Obviously, I need to have the nuclear logo for good measure. Here, I built this destroyed ocean monument, and again, I didn't use any schematics for this. And I think these holes in the ground really help to sell the illusion that this is a full ocean monument, because in reality, there's nothing built below it. Don't tell anyone. And I covered this area with basalt, which literally took me an entire weekend. These are supposed to be burnt down trees, and it's simply blocks of coal. Now, if you think that build times couldn't get any worse, just wait until we get onto the next one. Introducing the Nether Ocean, taking a grand total of 120 hours to build, and it is by far the most difficult build I have ever done. You see, this entire thing used to be lava, and before I could even build anything, I had to drain it all, just like it drained my time and energy. You see, there aren't many efficient ways of removing lava, meaning I had to use scaffolding to remove the lava blocks individually, or for the straighter segments, I used the lava machine, which helped out quite a lot. But throughout the span of this project, I ended up killing over 2,500 ghasts. I absolutely hate these guys now. Yeah, bad ghasts. With this project, I tried to make the nether a lot more safe. I even have Rory sleeping in this hut. He also gets to peacefully farm here. Don't mind the piglins. Also, having an entire ice biome in the nether seems very wrong. I could literally live in this igloo and walk outside into the nether. Like, what? This thing was so difficult and time consuming that I didn't want to have anything to do with the nether after I finished this. Now, having said goodbye to all of the builds, I'll show you how I actually died. I was recording a video where I was collecting all of the rarest pets in the game, and for that, I had to do a lot of flying with the elytra. I actually ended up making the first 4 minutes of the video before I died and had to scrap the project because of it. So, quick plug here, I decided to upload the start of the unfinished video to my new Patreon page, so if you want to check it out and also support the channel at the same time, you can head over there, link is in the description. You will also be able to get the world download to explore for yourself, I guess. But regardless, thank you so much for the support on this hardcore series. But this is how I died. I flew over the void whilst my elytra broke. The island is right over there. I was only checking how far away the other end islands were. This was an incredibly frustrating and irresponsible way of dying, but it is what it is, I guess. But we will come back a lot stronger in the new series. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.